Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Sorry, I can get a little loud there at the opening. Apologies there. Today, I'm chatting with my friend Lord Falconis here, who I met at Faithless Forum. So we're going to be discussing his journey away from the previous belief systems. And I say that because I believe you were in more than one at one time, correct?
More or less. It was kind of like a weird combination of like everything.
Interesting. Okay, well, take us on that sort of journey. Like start back, way back when you were indoctrinated into something, and how you found your way out of that.
Well, a lot. I can't really describe my beliefs to be a particular single thing. When I was younger, I did believe in God. I had this whole mentality that I would accept everything as we were all one. I was one of those, oh my God, totally spiritual, not religious kinds of people. But in particular, I was big on New Age stuff. So we're talking like crystals, we're talking telekinesis, telepathy, all of that stuff. I sincerely believe that stuff. And one of the things they tell you, because there were websites back in the 2000s that would always tell you, like, yes, you and only you, or especially you can learn telekinesis. All you have to do is think really, really super hard and you can do it. And so my 16-year-old ass tried to do that. And it never really turned out. I mean, there were times I was like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, I can move this tower. No, I just ended up walking closer. I would try to move like dice and things like that. And I kept struggling, and I would keep reading about it. And all they have said was like, yes, you can still do it. You just have to keep thinking. You have to keep thinking. This is going to be a running gag throughout my entire story, by the way. And you're going to find out why.
I think the problem was you were trying things that were too heavy to start with. Should have started with feathers or a piece of hair or something, or popcorn.
You didn't work up your telekinesis muscles yet.
Yes, think about Yoda? Smart I am, but he could lift he lifted the freaking X-wing. It's like, I did start small though, and then I kept trying to focus on other things. One of the other big things that I thought would be cool was remote viewing. You know what that is, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Okay, so remote viewing, for those who don't know, is the idea that you can astrally project yourself from your physical body to someplace else. And I felt like I did that a couple of times, but at the same time, like I didn't. The running thing with all of these weird New Age powers is belief. If you think you can do it, you can. And that ultimately is what backfired and made me into an agnostic / atheist. But I'll get into that as we go on. So I also did other things too. I was really big on spirit guides. So a spirit guide, you would meditate, and you would link with your spirit guides, and they would communicate with you. It was kind of basically like a magic 8-ball. I would ask questions about should I do this, or should I do X or Y, or what should I do about this situation? And I would close my eyes and I would meditate, and I would get like yes. I felt like I would get yeses and nos, and I felt like beings were actually speaking to me. And I just think about this now, and I feel like I was a candidate for a mental house, but yeah. And that was a thing for a good portion of my life. I tried to meditate with not much success, because I later learned in my life I have ADHD, and that makes it very difficult for someone to sit still and not think about anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The other big thing that I was into was the tarot. I got really good at it, and I got to the point where I was actually doing tarot readings for people. I actually never charged for tarot readings because I didn't want to end up like Miss Cleo. You know Miss Cleo?
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. Because I felt like it wasn't right to pay for that kind of guidance. Like, this is something that's important. I felt like she was being kind of selfish doing that kind of stuff. So I would use the tarot. For anyone who was into it like I was, I just used a regular Rider-Waite or Waite deck. I don't really remember how it's pronounced. And yeah, there was that.
I still have 2 decks, actually. I've got the
Thoth
deck, the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck, and a Dragon deck as well.
Yeah, I actually collect playing card decks. I wonder if I should expand it to tarot card decks. Maybe just keep them stored or something.
Some really nice ones.
Yeah, definitely. So as time went on, though, other interesting little resentments started happening in my mind. I started developing resentment toward God in 2001, because after a series of bad things that happened to me, and then 9/11 happened, and that pretty much solidified a resentment toward God for many, many years. And this went on toward my New Age stuff, because I wanted to believe the New Age stuff with the universe and source was so much better than this sky daddy that the Christians and the Jews always tried to push. Mm-hmm. So my mind was kind of jumbled back then.
It sounds like it.
Oh yeah. So this was going on, and during my undergrad, I was also practicing what's called auto writing. So auto writing is when you meditate, but you do something, but you have a piece of paper or a pen, and you allow the spirits to write through you. In my case, I was using Notepad and my keyboard. So I would close my eyes and I would ask questions to my spirit guides, and I would allow them to type for me. And I got answers apparently, but I'm starting to think maybe it was just my own brain now that I think back to it. But these all guided me and continued to guide me, or at least I thought they did. So from about 2006 to 2007 was when I was first introduced to a concept called the law of attraction. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So for those who don't know, the law of attraction, boiled down, basically says what you think about, you attract. So here I am in my New Age philosophy. I've been told numerous times in my life, by the way, that I was a very negative person. So I was already constantly worried about my negativity and how my negativity could influence others. So I was always kind of trying to struggle to be positive and just like, how can I be more positive? How can I be more positive? And people's responses were just like, just smile more. Yeah, that doesn't.
Happier.
Just be happier. Just think happy thoughts, and magical things will happen. And it got to grad school. I was going to grad school to get my master's in communications, and I was struggling. And I was trying to be positive about everything that was happening, and my just everything was just burning around me. My life was on fire. My education was on fire. I barely got that master's degree by the skin of my teeth. But you did get it, though.
Yes, you told me you got it. Yes,
I did get it. Now, when I was in 2003, I got this message from the universe that said my destiny was going to be a professor. That I was going to be a professor at a university, and I was going to teach communication studies. I got that vibration. And when I did graduate by the skin of my teeth, but because of, again, undiagnosed ADHD, I kind of screwed up as a teaching associate. So any professor jobs for the community college level were basically screwed, because they expect you to be a stellar performer right away. Right. And because I literally had a 3.0 GPA in grad school, which sounds a lot, which is basically the equivalent of a 2.0 in undergrad, no point looking for PhD programs. And that was it. I was thinking to myself, I was struggling. I did everything I could right. I did all of these things. This was my destiny. This was what the universe vibed to me. And now it all blew up in my face.
Damn universe lying. Oh,
damn
lost
universe.
Mikey.
Or source, really. But yeah. And
let's get rid of that.
I just was in 2009, which at that point I considered to be the worst year of my life. I was just left there going, why could the spirit guides told me that this was all going to work out? The spirit guides told me that this was my destiny, and now it's not happening. And it's at that point when I started realizing maybe there's no point to this. Maybe it was just intuition. Maybe I should just stop listening to these things. And so time passed, and I eventually went down the path of becoming a paralegal at the suggestion of my aunt. But I didn't try to decide or ask my spirit guides if it was my destiny or not. I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. And if it doesn't work out, I'll try something else. So far, it's worked out for the most part. But excellent. As time went on, I just realized
that's spirit guides.
Yeah. At the time, I just realized that the spirit guides were just figments of my imagination, and the law of attraction. And then it was around 2000. And it was around 2012, but I still kind of like questioned the law of attraction. And it kept going that way until about 2012, when I met a person who I won't bring up, I haven't spoken with them in years, that tried to get me to write content for her website. Because at the time I was a freelance writer writing content for people, and she wanted me to write it on spec. And she kept telling me, like, her website's going to be big. Her website's going to be amazing. I'm going to make lots of money once it goes big. Spoiler alert, it never did. But she also was really big on the law of attraction and on positivity and things like that. And I'm just realizing that she's full of it, because hopes and dreams are capable of many things, but paying rent ain't one of them.
Yeah.
But I just and it's at that point when I realized that the law of attraction was just basically bullshit. And I wouldn't start developing that until much later in my life, when I found other skeptics and I started realizing just exactly what the law of attraction relied on and what toxic positivity was. But that was the start of what has been so far a massive resentment toward the law of attraction. And if I were to summarize my channel and my work's number one enemy, it would be the law of attraction, followed by number 2, toxic positivity.
Ugh.
So that brings me to where I am now. Someone who is no fan of the law of attraction, and someone that I kind of dedicated my life's work to at least work toward the destruction of it, and anyone who advocates for it. There are some people in particular that I go after, but I'll bring them up if you wish.
Yeah, I mean, I want to ask you a little bit about your family, like your family and the background there. What were they involved in any religious beliefs at all, or were they fairly secular, or what?
My mom was raised kind of Catholic-y, Baptist-y, but she really wasn't that religious of a person. Okay. She did have some New Age beliefs, but she actually tried telekinesis, and it actually didn't work out for her. She thought one time she did, but then it turned out it was just an earthquake.
Shocker.
Yes, literally. And
I remember trying myself too, like reaching the remote for the TV's over there, and I'd be like Luke trying to get his lightsaber out of the ice, you know?
Yeah, I legit thought that was a real possible thing, and it was really depressing to learn that it's not.
It's not.
Yeah,
not.
It would make for some really cool weaponry, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I definitely tried to power up. I definitely tried to power up like Dragon Ball Z. It didn't work.
That would be it would be raising your vibrational frequency in New Age philosophy. That's what they would call it. So you're increasing your vibrational frequency, which sounded really, really cool to me back then. But now that I have a little bit of understanding of physics and understand what vibration and frequency are, is just a bunch of hogwash to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that whole thing spawns from, I'm pretty sure it spawns from the whole quantum physics things of like string theory and how things vibrate.
And, I mean, that's basically how, that's basically how the secret works.
We realize. Yeah, it's not on a level we can realize.
Yeah, so
that we can even actualize either. Like, no.
Yeah, so that's basically my story. And then as time goes on, of course, I'm dealing with Christians that are trying to convert me into their religion, and I'm dealing with a whole bunch of other people online and just struggling with God and all of these things. And eventually around 2010, I'm starting to think like all of these different religions think they're the best, and somehow they think only theirs is the best. So it seems like as if none of them are the right ones. That's how I started going down the road of being an atheist.
Well, I'd say a good percentage of the time you are what you are based on where you were born. So if you're born to Christians or Catholics, you're going to be either that or you never know, because some people find their way out of that. But weird thing is I was born to Christian, given up for adoption and raised by Jews. So
that sounds like
being Jewish, right?
That sounds like a great story.
I went from that into paganism, and then the whole with the pyramid power and crystal healing and all that other bullshit.
Gotta love the pyramids. The pyramids were all about power. I still actually kind of like the shape and the symbol of them, but
I love pyramids. They're cool.
Yeah, they're awesome. But I don't obviously believe that they're full of magical fantasy anymore. I don't believe that the pharaohs inside the pyramids are collecting vibrational energy or whatever the heck they're thinking up now. That was one of the cool things about New Age beliefs, is that you could pretty much believe in just about anything. There was no set dogma like there is, say, in Orthodox Judaism or the Catholic Church.
Right. I collected, gems and stones and stuff too, but mostly because I really liked them. Right. And I still have some. I still got like some bloodstone and
nice
quartz and pyrite. And this, I think this is labradorite or whatever. And I also have a pyramid shaped lapis lazuli, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah. I used to collect crystals. I used to believe they had power.
Yeah, me too.
Nowadays, I just think they're just shiny. I still would like to collect. I still like collecting like pyramid stuff, but now just because I like the shape.
Yeah, exactly. Just collect them for what they are. They're beautiful. Some of these stones are really beautiful, and you can make them. Make them like when you shape them into things, they look pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
A jade Chinese dragon here too, somewhere up there. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I also have a D4 on my desk. I just don't know where it went.
A D4.
Pyramids.
Yeah, a D4 looks like a pyramid. Well, don't worry. I'm sure you can manifest it. You'll manifest it shortly.
Just think hard enough, Mikey. You can.
Yes. If you think hard enough and you focus on pyramids, you'll manifest your D4.
There you go.
Yeah. And if you don't, then it's your fault for not thinking hard enough.
Hi, secular pagan mom. I saw you in there.
Yeah. But that was the other thing too. Like there always seemed to be an excuse for the law of attraction as to why it never worked. The big one being, of course, you just weren't thinking positive enough, or you weren't being grateful enough, or you weren't visualizing enough. And when you boiled everything away and you did all of that, the ultimate and final excuse of the law of attraction, it was hilarious, which is you just weren't a match to it.
Right.
Which kind of destroys the entire purpose of the law of attraction.
Well, all these types of beliefs have auto outs. Like if something doesn't go right, they've got these great lines that they can pull out. Just like in religion too. Like,
exactly,
you just weren't Christian enough. It's like the no Scotsman fallacy all over the fucking place is what it is.
I mean, the law of attraction is basically Christian Science minus the Christian. Didn't realize that for a while.
Did you ever get into anything like Wicca or anything like that?
I did entertain getting into Wicca a little bit, but I don't think I went full on into it. I feel like there might have been a little bit of blend with New Age, with the New Age stuff in Wicca, but there was never any point where I identified as Wiccan.
Okay. See, I did for a little while, but I was kind of attracted to a girl that was Wiccan, and she kind of
that probably would have been what got me too.
Lured me in with the whole sex magic and building a cone of power and all that shit. Right? So,
was she trying to lead you to a cult?
Well, no, she didn't. She wasn't part of the coven or anything.
Okay, cool.
She was
because that does sound covenish.
Solitary practitioner, I guess you call herself. So,
yeah. Well, I do have a part 2 if you're interested into my spirituality.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got lots of time left, man. We've only been 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, cool. All right, so time passes. I eventually, for one reason or another, decided that I wanted to join Overeaters Anonymous. So I assume you know what Alcoholics Anonymous is.
Yep, of course.
Think of OA as AA, but with food. I mean, literally, the first step is we admit we were powerless over food, and then the rest of the steps are the same. So I'm in this, and I decide I want to fully commit to it, but the thing about any 12-step program is you have to have a belief in a higher power. And of course, I'm really, really resistant to it. But my sponsor at the time was telling me your higher power can be anything you would like. So I'm like, okay, that seems a little bit more doable. But when you get into these,
to me.
Oh yeah, it gets worse. So you go into these meetings and they always start with the Serenity Prayer, which is God grant me the serenity to not be a jerk or something like that. But it's that one singular God entity. when they close meetings, there's 3 ways they generally close meetings. One is, again, with a Serenity Prayer. The second is with the 3rd step prayer, which is, God, I offer myself unto thee to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt, yada, yada, yada. But again, it references a single monotheistic God. And then the third one, which is the Lord's Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you claim that your higher power can be anything you want, and then insist that meetings close with the Lord's Prayer, or see that meetings do? That's offensive to anybody whose higher power isn't Jesus Christ or God. And every time I raised a point about it, I would basically get yelled at or told or shushed or just told, well, that's just their spirituality. And now up to this point, I had put away my anger issues with God because I realized God didn't really exist. But having that constantly come down on my throat reignited some of the anger that I had toward God, because I kept seeing it all the time. And it's like they kept expecting me to pray to God and to this God and hit the knees, so to speak. And I'm just like, and of course, I'm still a skeptic and an agnostic. So I start questioning things again. Like, well, if I have this disease, who gave me this disease? And they tell you the reasons for the disease are unimportant because they don't want you thinking about that crud. But I mean, that was the thing. Like, OA was the closest I've ever gotten to being in a cult. Mm-hmm. I will definitely call Overeaters Anonymous to be a cult. Any 12-step program is a cult.
I take it Kem Panda knows you quite well.
Very much so. We're actually thinking about building a podcast up together.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me, I might as well make mention of that now. Folks, if you like what you hear from Lord Falconis, I have his link tree listed below in the description box, so you can find him elsewhere on the interwebs.
Thank you so much for that. I'm glad to be of help. I'm hoping I can bring some of the more new age stuff into the atheist community, in particular, anything after the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm. I had a gal from my neck of the woods on the show who used to be a guru in all that stuff. Some years ago. She's found her way out of there too. That was quite the story, actually.
That's good of her. I'm glad that they're hopefully working to fix that kind of stuff, because there's a lot of really dangerous people out there who advocate the law of attraction and worse.
Oh yeah. And they may not think it, too. They probably think to themselves, how could this be harmful? And you say, well, if you tell people they can fix problems, especially medical ones, with bullshit, then that's harmful.
Yeah.
So,
or if they just say, well, you're just not being positive enough. You're not being grateful enough. I mean, that in itself is kind of a vague and ambiguous thing. Like, how do you know what is grateful enough? How grateful do you need to be? How positive do you need to be? And some people have claimed like you need to be 80% positive. And it's like, well, how do you measure that?
Yeah. How do you know?
And none of this clicked into my mind until after 2009. Mm-hmm. I'm really grateful that it did.
So what kind of advice would you give to somebody if somebody starts approaching them about stuff like this? Like, are there like red flag moments that you would say to watch for? Or
well, what do you mean? Are we talking about just a random stranger, or are we talking about a friend that you're okay? Well,
like I would say a friend or family member, right?
Okay,
somebody you care about if they're approached by someone from this sort of nonsensical belief system.
Okay, so I mean, I'm looking this as like you have a friend that believes in the law of attraction and all this stuff, right?
I don't. No.
Okay. No, I mean, like that's the situation we're talking about here. I'm just a little confused. I'm just confused.
Yeah. Well, you have someone that you know that really doesn't believe anything, but someone's trying to convince them into coming into this, and they're starting to buy into it. What would you say to that person?
All right. Well, here's a couple of easy ways that you can easily take out someone who believes in the law of attraction. So remember that you attract everything that happens to you, correct? So that means bad things that happen to you. So if you're according to the law of attraction, if you were abused as a child, you manifested it.
Yeah, right. Sure.
That is a easy issue that makes law of attraction practitioners squirm.
No doubt.
Yeah. And then again, you can also bring up some of the other things that I just brought up a few minutes ago, which is how do you quantify positivity? What does it mean? What does it mean to be grateful? How grateful do you need to be? And then they may try to say something like you need to raise your vibrational frequencies. Here's the thing about frequencies. The higher the frequency gets in real life, the weaker it gets. This is why you can listen to an FM radio station almost all over the city, but your Wi-Fi, which is at like 802.11, barely goes through your wall.
That's right.
So the higher New Agers will tell you that the higher your frequency is, the better it is, and the more closer to source it is. But in reality, that's not true at all. It's weaker.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, and also lower vibrations are more powerful than higher vibrations.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
So that right there is usually enough to get them to get your friend to realize that the law of attraction practitioner is full of it.
My subwoofers in my truck definitely will teach you that lower frequencies
will kick your ass.
Yes, your subwoofer. The subwoofer manifests great vibrations, probably.
Oh yes.
Now I get the whole chem. I'm a chemist too, Chem Panda. Hi.
Yep, she is a Chem is a chemist. She is a chemist from Scotland.
I work
and
for
my partner. Whenever I have a anti-vax or lunatic that has questionable stuff, she's usually the smart one that can say that whether it's full of it or not. So thank you for everything you've done so far.
Oh, that's awesome. So I guess you and Chem Panda have bonded.
Oh, no.
Really bad joke.
Yeah. We'll keep that. I will take that under consideration. I don't have anything weird to say.
Is it a covalent bond? Come on, Neil.
Okay, yeah, I know. Sorry.
I would say it's a universal manifestation of us being twin flames, or whatever the heck they say about that now. Twin flames, or I forget what the other soul. Our soulmates is a New Age thing, but I think the twin flame stuff is the New Age term. For people who are like whose souls are aligned in a mystical way.
Yes. Well, yeah. It's the whole thing is hydrogen bond.
Hydrogen bond. Yes, there we go. It's a
the beginning.
Yeah. Hydrogen, helium. I don't know. I'm not a chem. I almost failed chemistry. I don't know.
My first go around, I did too. So, but eventually, ultimately, I liked it and got really good grades in high school in chemistry. But earlier in the beginning stage, I wasn't really all that interested. But I did get interested, and then of course, I got I didn't get a degree, but I ended up taking courses that would. And paid for by where I work to get much better at it. And I have what would be considered somewhere around between a bachelor's and master's, I guess you might say.
So I'm guessing you're not too happy with the whole raise your vibrational frequency stuff either then.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. I'm also a musician too. So, that stuff is just fucking, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Raise your vibration so you can get weaker, you stupid fucking idiots.
No, but you're going to be a lighter being of light and you'll be able to pass through more quickly. I don't know. I got nothing.
I think you're referencing light workers.
You're gonna be a wave, or
I think that was, I don't remember.
Yes. Are you a particle or a wave?
I didn't learn about that until after I left the New Age faith, but yeah, light workers are a thing. The light workers are the people who bring light to people, who manifest the good stuff. And considering some of the New Age cults that I've infiltrated are some of the most pompous asses I've ever encountered.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure they're fine. They just do normal, regular stuff. They would never
think that they're better than everybody else because they're masters of light.
They're naming shit after you now, James. Jamesium.
Jamesium. Yes, there we go.
Bond. Jamesium Bond.
Like I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah.
I think when I was in college, every professor started that with me when they learned my name was James. It's like, oh, so is it your last name Bond? Bond. James Bond. Well, at least it wasn't. Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't James and the Giant Peach.
Great movie.
That was when I was a kid, the movie came out, and references to peaches followed me for about 3 or 4 years.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, much to my resentment.
Did you have the Presidents of the United States song "Peaches" playing all the time? Millions of peaches.
People sung it for me.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Nice. That's funny.
Yeah, I forgot all about that song.
How the heck did I manifest all of that?
I don't know. You weren't vibrating high enough, I guess.
I don't know.
I guess or it could have been in my soul contract. That was another thing. Your soul contract. Yes, soul contract. So when you have
SOUL or SOLE?
SOU as in uniform, L contract. Okay. So here's the thinking that the New Agers have. So prior to your incarnation, you sign something called a soul contract. The soul contract is everything that you're going to experience in this incarnation or reality. So that's another thing that could be, is because if you're destined to do something, it was because it's in your soul contract. If you're not, so not in your soul contract. But then when you start thinking about the law of attraction, it's kind of self-contradictory. How can you attract something to happen if by your soul contract, it's not going to happen?
Wow.
New Age is has just as many contradictions as your average Christian religion.
Oh, well, any religion, really.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's just wow.
Sounds like moving the
soul contract. Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much most of any religion, really, is goalpost moving. That's the law of attraction. It's just, well, you didn't do X, you didn't do Y, you didn't do Z. And it's pretty much the same thing as not being a match to something.
So everything from here on out, now that I know that Kempanda is Scottish, everything they type on there, I'm reading it in Scottish in my head. So, just FYI.
Don't use Fat Bastard's voice, please. Fat Bastard's voice.
Yeah. I want to point out that how Kim just said that, I can appreciate how bollocks that contract part of a soul contract was. Yes, I very much can, especially since anytime I tell someone, okay, produce my soul contract, please, they don't seem to conveniently have it.
Weird.
Is it stored at a central location, like a hub?
Probably
the soul hub.
It would be the term that that New Agers use is the Akashic records. The Akashic records store everything that was, is, and is yet to come. And of course, there's certain gurus that quote unquote have the spiritual access to check the Akashic records, which most of them can do for you for a fee.
Of course, for a fee.
Funny that.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Bullshit.
How much do you have in your account? It costs exactly that much.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and here in Los Angeles, there's plenty of people that can claim to read your chakras and check your souls and do past life regression and all of that stuff. So, you can throw a rock somewhere in Hollywood and you'll walk into a psychic's lair.
Well,
I always thought it was kind of funny. I remember seeing advertisiements for like psychic fairs and stuff like that. Well, if they're so psychic, what do they need to advertise for?
Yeah,
exactly.
Psychic gives me the lotto, gives me the winning lotto numbers. Well, why are you telling me this? Shouldn't you be keeping this to yourself?
Exactly.
How many times have you won the lottery?
Yeah.
When you drive past, there used to be a psychic shop near where I used to work downtown Vancouver, but eventually it was all boarded up. Like, tell me you didn't see that coming.
I know, yeah. Mm-hmm. Psychic tells me the 405 is going to be heavy in traffic today.
Oh,
weird.
Out on the limb.
I for those of you who aren't living in Los Angeles, the 405 is considered to be the most jammed up freeway in the United States.
Oh, come on, JR. I already tried that.
Yeah, I think, there is, if you want, I think Teal Swan has a video on how to sell your soul. So,
oh, there you go.
Go watch that.
Well, a couple of my bucket list items were actually taken care of. I wanted to have a song that we produced, played on the radio, which did happen, and we got to play live on the radio thanks to a friend of mine who's a DJ. So that was pretty cool.
So you manifested your friend as a DJ.
I manifested. Yeah. What? No. He was already a DJ. He did all that manifesting himself.
Yeah.
They were in a little. What they did is Seafox on the road, they called it, and they would move this little trailer all over the Lower Mainland, and they were right near us one night, and my guitar player and I went to visit my buddy who is a DJ there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys want to play live?" We smoked a big fatty, and then we went in and played live over the air. It was pretty fucking cool.
That sounds awesome.
How to sell your soul.
Yes.
One,
become
Teal
Swan. Yeah. Well, to be fair, that isn't the only way you can sell your soul. There's also joining Donald Trump. You can also vote Republican.
Yeah. There's lots of ways to sell your soul, really.
Yes. Yeah. But that also was a thing too. You could communicate with some other spectral entity and commit your soul to them in exchange for power. I never really did that, but that is a thing.
What about, did any ufology morph into this at all? Did any of that sort of blend? Ufology, belief in alien species and communicate with them, that kind of thing. Did you ever fall into any of that stuff?
I personally didn't, but I had a few friends and a few communities that are totally all about that, and they still are. They would focus, or some of them would say that they were alien souls that are incarnated into humans for reasons of learning or something like that. That kind of stuff never really made sense to me. I did question it a little bit.
It's legal here in Canada, by the way.
It's legal here in LA too, so
that's true too.
In case you're ever thinking about coming down here.
Oh, I've been down. I'm down there quite often, actually.
Cool. Then we should hang out the next time you come down here.
Usually, it's because of it was. I haven't been down in a few years. I'll say that much. Obviously, because of COVID, and before that, it'd been a few years since I've been down. The last time I was down there was probably in 2013 for one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship series when the YCS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I went down there and because I was a YouTube. Yugi tuber, we called them, before I did start doing this. So I was a little well known there as well. And the kids would come up and I played a deck called Lightsworn, and it has a card where they call Judgment Dragon, which is the boss monster. And all the kids, so I carried all the common versions of it around with me, and the kids would want me to sign them and give them cards and stuff like that, which was kind of fun. I've never had that happen to me before, but it was a lot of fun.
That sounds really cool.
Oh,
you clearly manifested a lot of friends.
Oh yes, indeed. I absolutely did. Oh, there's another hashtag coins. By the way, I forgot to tell you about that. Hashtag coins is the drinking game we have, by the way. You see that appear because my phone makes the Mario coin noise. Everyone drinks. If you drink.
Yeah.
I don't even
have water. I got water. That works.
That's what I'm drinking right now too, because unfortunately, because of blood clots, I have to be on these fucking things.
Oh wait, I got iced tea. Yeah. Well, I got my own personal health issues, so no alcohol from me. But I got iced tea.
There you go. Iced tea works. A drink is a drink is a drink.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't necessarily have to be alcoholic. I mean, normally I'd have a beer right here. So, but I mean, I could have a couple here and there, but really, the alcohol interferes with the medicine as it's processed through your like liver and kidneys and stuff, so it can fuck all that shit up. So
yeah, same here. Can't drink too much. Can't drink no more because of my health issues. I won't get into that. Definitely manifested that. But I will expand a little bit on the alien part of New Age culture. So there's three races in particular. There's three races in particular that they seem to focus on, which are the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, and the Reptilians. Yeah. Arcturians and Pleiadians. Arcturians come from the planet Arcturus, and the Pleiadians come from the Pleiades.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird because I think I remember reading once that the Pleiades are actually younger than the planet Earth, but New Agers think that the Pleiades have been around for like a bajillion years, and they like the Arcturians are trying to guide humanity into spiritual enlightenment. The reptilians don't want that. They want to destroy humanity. They want to enslave them and all of that stuff. And it seems unusually convenient that the reptilians are whoever the hell the New Ager hates. You're going to find a lot of it. You'll find, and the weirdest thing is that whole reptilian race concept has slowly weaseled its way into QAnon.
Oh, I know. They're running our governments, apparently.
Oh, yes. Yes. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and insert whatever other Democrats you hate here, all evil reptilians that secretly live in a basement dungeon under Mount Shasta in California.
Exactly. They see, just watch them, because when they blink, the other eyelid goes this way.
Yes. Or they roll their eyes, and you see the reptilian eye behind them, or something like that.
Yeah, some ridiculous bullshit.
And I actually did believe that, though. I actually did believe that. Now that I think about it, I believed that there was this ancient race underneath Mount Shasta that was there. I did kind of believe that there were aliens secretly communicating with us, but I wasn't that hardcore about it.
Yeah, we're deep into the bullshit train. That's for sure.
Yep, the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm actually listening to a book right now by Mick. What's his name again?
Mick Foley.
No, not Mick Foley.
Mick Foley.
For sakes.
Foley's awesome, by the way.
Dude, love.
Escaping the Rabbit Hole is what I'm listening to.
Yeah, I think that was. I forget the premise of that one. I was good. That's on my
West.
Yeah,
Mick West.
But that's another important book.
It's very good.
I think it's like I think that's the one about talking people out of like extremist cultish beliefs, right?
It talks about how they work. And how easy it is to fall into some of them, but it also tells you how to be skeptical towards them and find your way out if you do fall into the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean, I will bring up the fact that I'm really grateful that street epistemology is a thing, because it can really, really help you when you encounter it, when you have a friend that has these beliefs and it's starting to affect them, or you have someone that's trying to sway them into things, especially if they're part of something like Landmark Forum or Psi Seminar or Teal Tribe or something like that. Mm-hmm. It could really help you to try to get them to realize maybe these aren't as valid beliefs as they want them to think.
Oh, hang on. There's an interesting question here in the chat. Do we bash Jehovah's Witnesses here? No, I don't bash anyone that isn't deserving of it. All right. If you're going to come in here and act like an ass, then I might be an ass back to you. But if you're cool, then I don't bash anybody. I don't bash people to begin with. I try to build bridges rather than tear them down. Okay. So that's basically.
Yeah. I mean, my personal philosophy myself is bash the organization, not the people that are just innocently part of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're all born into a belief system of some kind. Mm-hmm. Many of us find our way out. Some of us, are raised so deeply into it, and your family structure could be very, very adamant and whatnot, and so you end up growing up quite, stuck in a belief system. But I always say to people, just question stuff. Like if something doesn't make sense to you, don't be afraid to question it.
Yeah, question everything. I mean, at the end of the day, could ghosts exist? They very well could, but the evidence suggests they don't. So that's what I believe. If I am shown clear and convincing evidence that ghosts do exist, I might change my mind on that. If I'm ever shown like completely true proof that God exists beyond faith, maybe I would change my mind on that.
That's right.
But until then, the evidence seems to suggest that they're not there.
That's right. That's right. I don't attack people. I will attack belief systems, especially if I find them to be harmful. But Ox, this isn't what I'm talking about. I'm not building a bridge towards a religion. It's between people. Okay. Yeah. We could deal with the beliefs after that once the bridges are built.
I mean, at the end of the day, we, as the atheist community, we need to do two things. One, we need to reach out for people who have legitimate questions about their faith and be there for people that are trying to deconstruct or trying to get away from their faith. And two, we need to call out the people that are truly dangerous and are shilling these dangerous beliefs.
Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with you there. Ghost lives matter.
Ghost lives matter.
Whatever that means. I don't believe in ghosts. Actually, they're not possible.
Well, if ghosts, but ghosts aren't alive though, so technically that contradicts itself.
Got him.
Oh my God, I'm thinking too hard about this.
Yeah, well, according to physics, ghosts can't exist. So let's not even worry about that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I think one of the funniest or one of the best answers to because often when you talk about ghosts and like, well, energy doesn't disappear, it just changes form. Well, that's true. That's very true.
Very true.
And I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said it best. He says, you become food energy for the fauna and flora that you fed off of during your lifetime.
Yep.
If you're buried. I mean, you can also be what do you call it? Burnt.
Cremated.
Cremated, thank you. Which is my plan. I want to get cremated, put a little capsule shot into space and orbit the Earth for a couple of years and then come back down as a shooting star. I think that'd be pretty damn cool.
That would be pretty cool.
And then our energy changes form that way as well. So
I'm going to set up a sophisticated drone and net setup, and I'm going to catch Neil out of the sky.
I'll burn up well before
then it'll be mine.
Careful. It sounds like he wants your soul.
Apparently.
Step 1, get a drone. Step 2, get a net. Step 3, step 4, profit.
I promise I'll
talk to Elon Musk. I think he has a plan for that kind of stuff.
And you'll notice it, right? Oh, there's Neil. Oh, and speaking of street epistemology, look what I've got a sticker on the top.
Love it. Nothing brings people of two different extremes together than weed.
Word. You're high as shit. It's hard to be pissed at somebody.
Yep. Say 10. I agree. I have no problem with religious people if they are harmless. That's right.
Yep. And thankfully, most people are harmless unless they're actively trying to spread misinformation or they're trying to screw people out of money, selling them useless hopes and dreams.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But remember, though, I get what you're saying, Ox. You're dead set against religions. I am too. I'm in that sense. I'm anti-theistic, you might say. I don't like to use the term because people mistake what that means. But I'm very much against religious beliefs of most kind. There are some harmless ones, really. But like Jainism, I think probably comes the closest to being harmless. But they do still have some beliefs that could lead to harm if they get too deep into it. But one thing I always tell people is your beliefs inform your actions, and your actions have consequences, right? So, and that's very apparent in today's age when we see these anti-vaxxers out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. And I mean, it's kind of sad seeing so many people that are indoctrinated against misinformation such as this, because you want to try to reach out for a lot of them, but unfortunately, it just seems like there's so many that are just so indoctrinated that it's impossible.
Hi, Faye. That sucks. I've known some Jade. I grew up with some that I went to school with. They never. See, the weird thing about these kids is they never pushed that shit. They were just kids having fun on the playground, whatever. Right. But their parents, on the other hand, were quite chatty.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, they're pretty cool. They always they had to field questions like, "Oh, why don't you guys do Christmas and why don't you do birthdays?" And you get the standard answer for that sort of shit. But which I never understood. Yeah. It's like you don't get to have a birthday. Fuck, that sucks.
I think birthdays are just have a good day. Days. Yeah. That's all those days are. You're gonna have a good day today.
I don't really care. Yeah. I'm just kidding. It's my family gets together. We go for dinner for whoever's birthday it is, and that's always a good time. So,
yeah,
definitely, that's always a pleasant experience. Yeah, I get it's. I mean, like, thank goodness the new age philosophy isn't anywhere near as insane as Jehovah's Witnesses. So
make one up.
When you start getting into culty situations, I would join a faith to get a religious exemption from working.
We do anyways. You get Christmas off, right? You get Easter off.
I mean, I used to work for an Orthodox Jewish attorney, and during the winter, I got to leave early with pay because of Shabbat.
Right.
Because in those terms, because Jewish law extends to employees.
Yes.
In that sense, so I got to take advantage.
Yeah, I grew up in that, so I know all about it. And all the holidays start at sundown. So
yep.
Once the sun goes down, the holiday starts.
What happens if you're Jewish and you live like in like
North Pole,
like Sweden, like Jardin or something like that? They must not be able to work for like months.
Wow, that's a pretty.
It doesn't stay dark all the time there, you know.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. But that's actually, I kind of want to know that now. Oh my god. I should
synagogue.com. What happens if you're at the 20th parallel?
Here's what I know. What I can tell you, if you're talking about Jewish faith and then the holidays, how they start sundown and then end on sundown as well, then what you do is you follow the Jerusalem time zone.
Oh, okay.
They got me.
Good to know.
So that starts. Actually, most Jews do that anyway. It's like they start basically with the whole whatever's going on in Jerusalem is like the start of not so much here in North America, but over in Europe and stuff like that. So there you go.
The more you know.
I miss those.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say. Go on.
I just want to say that I think ultimately I'm really glad that I became more of an atheist and I became more of a skeptic because I kind of want to make it my goal to try to pull more people away from it and make them realize that these beliefs can be at the very least just ineffective and at the very worst dangerous. So
that's right.
That's
exactly
kind of
right.
my goal.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually, James. I really do.
Thank you.
That's a great way to put it. At the least ineffective and at the worst harmful. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because even something like that's benign, like, oh, just be positive. Well, then if things bad keeps happening, you might develop a complex for something that there's something wrong with you or that everything is betraying you or that your frequency isn't high enough. And then that's a whole nother stressor that's put on.
Exactly, Mikey. And that's something that happened to me.
Yeah. That's
and
put on that person's life.
And I wouldn't learn until much later in my life that I also have clinical depression. So that definitely played a factor into why I wasn't so positive all the time. But of course, at the time, I didn't know that because I always thought it was just my fault that I was such a negative person.
Right.
And now I know better. So I will definitely admit that I'm driven by resentment when it comes to the law of attraction and toxic positivity. But I feel like it's that resentment that keeps me passionate about what it is I'm doing whenever I upload anyway.
And I don't know why most religions have such like a hard take on pragmatism. It's like, oh, my fucking car got a flat tire and my dog has worms. I'm not having a good day. It's like, oh no, you must find the silver lining in your flat tire. It's like, what? It was raining. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't have to water the grass.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's kind of a. Yeah.
I've got good coverage, and I could have AAA come out and change my tire.
Yes,
and then that guy got a flat on the way over.
I mean, it is good to think. It is good to think about the silver lining in some situations, but like not always, because it helps. Because at the worst, it can make you delusional about the situation that you're in. If you're it's like you're on fire and someone is telling you, well, just be glad that you're so lit up.
You're not cold right now.
You're warmer.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off and give me the fire extinguisher. You fucking wacko.
Yeah, Kim Panda just said something. Kim just said something in chat that I really like. Sometimes your day just sucks, and it's okay to acknowledge it sucked. Because I've met more than a few people who told me I can't think like that. I have to think positive about every single thing that happens to me. And now I'm realizing that's a really shitty thing to do.
This is fine, dog. I love that.
Exactly. That's it. That's what the law of attraction wants us all to be. That this is fine, dog. Maybe smiling more and talking about how grateful they are for all the new light that is manifested in their house.
It's like, the house is on fire. My coffee won't get cold now. That's good.
Yes. I've manifested all of this light because I'm a light worker.
I manifested the fire because my coffee was getting cold. And my coffee's going whoosh. Oh, okay. This is fine. We found the hidden.
How about instead of drinking that coffee, fucking dump it on the fire? It might help put it out.
Oh no, that you can't do that. That's just hostility. That just brings negativity to the fire.
It spreads the fire. It's a grease fire. It makes it worse.
The fire needs to manifest itself and raise its vibrational frequencies to manifest into your soul.
The only way it can do that is by burning.
And I know I'm half talking out of my butt when I say that, but I kind of feel like that's something someone legitimately would say if they were a New Ager. Because again, they can come up with just about anything.
Very true, Carol. It's cruel that we blame ourselves for so much that's out of our control.
Very much true. And the worst thing is how other people try to force that down your throat and make you think that, even in cases where it clearly isn't your fault. Like, I mean, it's classic with abuse situations. If you're made to think that it was somehow your fault,
triple shot.
Hang on. If you're made to think it was your fault when really you had nothing to do with it. I mean, what are you doing? You're just a kid, and your parents or your teacher or somebody is abusing you, and you're being told, how did you manifest that? That's unacceptable to me.
Yeah.
Quadruple shot. Holy fuck. My Twitter's going apeshit right now, apparently.
Well, if you didn't have allergies, you wouldn't be such a burden on your parents. Like, what the hell is that? What do you say? That's like when Scar in The Lion King was just like, well, if you hadn't have gotten scared, maybe your dad would still be alive. It's like, God damn, Scar, that's fucked up to say to a cub.
Yep. And that sounds like something someone would say. Anyone who believes in the law of attraction or Christian Science, that's exactly what they would say. Is you manifested it. You created this situation.
Or God's
so it's
got
your
a
fault.
plan. That's why your dad had to get trampled by wildebeest.
As the narrator of Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey said, the good Lord works in strange ways.
I have never seen that.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst Christmas special Rankin Bass ever created.
That's why we had so many coins in a row. Fucking all-eman.
Fucking found out. You are found out, sir.
But yeah, if you ever have the time, go on to watch the version of Nestor that's on Riff Tracks, because believe me, you're gonna want it, because that cartoon is incredibly depressing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'll put it to you, but to put it bluntly, Nestor is the poster child for PTSD.
Poor Nestor.
All because of God's plan. But yeah.
Stop it all.
Talking about some he.
Trying to get everyone wrecked.
Yeah, I got to produce a show here. You got me.
I mean, not exactly working that well, considering we all have non-alcoholic beverages, but
yes, we do. That is correct.
Yes,
that is a true statement.
Yes, if I believe it, then both of you have non-alcoholic.
I've manifested all the alcohol. I manifested all the alcohol out of my drink. We're good.
And it's vibrating at a higher frequency too.
It's vibrating. You've raised the alcohol to a lower frequency, and thus it is now safe.
That's right.
I had a couple pre-rolls that them motherfuckers had some low frequencies. That shit had me bumping. I was whoa. God damn.
I can do some low frequencies. You give me enough to eat.
No, Neil, no.
Totally fine. Yeah, totally fine for the
good without that.
My feelings.
If you feel a rumbling.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
No.
Oh God.
Not again.
Well, I say we pick the rest of this up, I think, in an after party, because it's the kind of conversation we should have some more folks in with.
Yes,
definitely.
James, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, man. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you.
No problem, sir. It's been an absolute honor.
Well, my pleasure having you on, man. And Mikey, always doing a great job, man. Thank you so much. I like the little Hollywood trick there you did with the shaking of the camera and
what?
What are you talking about?
When the starship gets hit by like a photon torpedo, just go flying over the stanchion, just flip over.
The brown note. I was going to bring that up earlier.
The brown note.
Is that real? Is that a real thing?
I don't think it is. I think there's. Yeah, I mean, there is a note that can like make you feel vibrating, but I don't think there's one that can automatically make you defecate yourself.
I don't know if there's a poop note. Is there a poop note?
I don't
Google
think
it
there
for
is.
fuck's sake. Just Google.
All right, let's go.
Google will lie.
All right, let's just go look. Here is there
this is how we're going to close
a brown
out the show
note. Yes. There you go. There we go.
Shittiest
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for coming. No, you cannot make a noise that poops. There we go. All right, here we go. The brown note is a hypothetical infrasonic frequency, capable of causing fecal incontinence by creating acoustic resonance in the human bowel. The name is a metonym for the common color of human feces. You don't say. Attempts to demonstrate the existence of a brown note using sound waves transmitted through the air have failed. So there we go.
There you go. There you go. And if you want your poop to stay brown, I recommend you stop drinking those blue raspberries Slurpees.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Or cake with green frosting. That's all I'm going to leave on that note.
I wonder how many 911 calls come in when people are like, all right, so I had this blue frosty and I think I'm dying.
Okay. Yeah, well, imagine my horror after I had a bag of Red Hot Cheetos once.
Yikes!
Yeah, it was scary looking, and I'll leave it at that.
I was very worried for Aaron Raw when we were at Faithless Forum, and he was kind of drunk, so he took the bottle of The End, it's called, and he drank a little bit out of the bottle, and it's 7 million on the Scoville scale.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm like, Aaron, you're gonna get the fuck out of that tomorrow.
I should have gotten a closer look at those sauces then. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, no, that one wasn't included in the ones that they did on stage.
Oh, okay.
I'm the one that picked those out, by the way. All those sauces you saw was me and Eric Murphy picking them all out for that whole thing.
So they all have you to blame for the torture.
Well, I made sure they weren't like disastrously hot. Evil. They got pretty hot. Maybe 1.5 million was about the hottest they got. So
okay,
but they're all around the similar heats, right? So you could very lightly go up and up and up. But it was fun. Neil the 604 wingman. Yeah, there you go. Or a Whopper with a black bun. Yes. I remember those.
That was.
If your poop is pink, see a doctor or stop drinking so much fucking Pepto-Bismol.
Oh yes.
No, you're supposed to drink the Pepto-Bismol. That might be half your problem.
There you
go. It's like a lubrication. It makes everything run so much faster.
Yes.
All right, enough of this crappy content. Let's get into the after party. First and foremost, once again, James, thanks for being a guest on today's show. Once again, thanks to my amazing producer for everything that he does for the show, and also thank you to everyone in the chat for hanging out. I hope you guys had a good time with us tonight. We are going to carry this on in the after party. The link is below, so you can click on that. It'll also pop up at the end of the end credits, so to speak, so you'll be able to click there if you would like. Also, thanks to my amazing patrons. All you guys make this show possible. Without you guys, I'm nothing. So big love to all you guys for everything you do for me. Also, don't forget that Randolph and I are starting our own call-in show soon called True North Talk, and you can head over to www.truenorthtalk.ca and learn more about the show, and we'll send you right to the YouTube channel, and you can click on the subscribe so you don't miss our launch date. And don't forget that myself and Mikey here have been some of the new co-hosts of the revamped and relaunched Nonprofits, which is an ACA product that runs between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central. I haven't been on in a while, and I'm probably not going to be on for a little bit while longer, but I think the last episode I did was the Halloween one. But, I get busy too. And they wanted me to be on recently, but unfortunately, they picked a night that I wasn't available. Anyway, so you can also check out at the end of every Saturday or every month, on the last Saturday of every month, myself and Seamus and Andy do a little show called Atheist Drinking Out Loud, and it's on Andy's channel, Laughing in Disbelief. So head over there and subscribe to him so you don't miss those two. And we never know when I might come crawling into your DMs asking you to be on the show with us, because we always have a guest with us. And that's about it.
Yeah, I just want to point out really quick, I'm sorry about that burp. I thought I had muted my microphone.
Didn't even hear it.
Totally didn't hear it.
You just told on yourself. Ew, you disgusting burper.
I muted the wrong microphone. That's what it was.
That's why nobody can hear me. All right, guys, until next time, like I always say at the end of the interviews, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said...
Coins.
Coins,
yes.
It's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Will anybody see me for who spontaneous.